Good morning. How are you doing? Jamaica's getting their first Category 5 ever. Jamaica's going to get a Category 5 hurricane. The Green Bay Packers won their game last night against Aaron Rodgers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we're getting closer to TNA Wrestling. TNA Wrestling, it does have to suck for Jamaica. It really does. Category 5 hurricane. It's the strongest hurricane to ever hit Jamaica. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of their houses are just shacks. They live in like shacks. They don't live in real houses. It's going to decimate them. Yeah, there's a mandatory evacuation, but where do they go if they can't get a flight out of Jamaica? Where do they possibly go? I mean, like you said, they're an island. We're getting closer to November the 13th, which is TNA's return to live television. TNA Wrestling returns to live television on November the 13th. We're getting closer to that. Yeah, I always ride hurricanes out. I live in eastern North Carolina. We get a little bit more hurricanes than you do in Virginia. Actually, we get a lot more hurricanes than you do in Virginia. The only state that gets more hurricanes than us is Florida. Florida gets the most hurricanes. In the United States, of course. Obviously, the islands get the most hurricanes. What is going on? Good morning. How are you doing? We're talking about the Category 5 hurricane that's about to hit Jamaica. Our last really bad hurricane was Hurricane Florence, which has been like 7 years. I might be wrong on the 7 years thing, but it's been a while. I think it's been 7 years. That was Hurricane Florence. We've had some close calls. Hurricane Ian this year almost hit us, but it's just scraped us. It didn't really hit us hard. Hurricane Ian came really close to. That would have been devastating because that was a Category 5. There's a Category 5 hurricane headed towards Jamaica. It's going to devastate the island. Strongest hurricane to ever hit Jamaica. Yeah, it's horrible, man. It's absolutely horrible. So, like I was saying, Impact TNA returns with a live episode of Impact Thursday, November the 13th. It'll immediately be followed the very next day by Turning Point. Turning Point is live also Friday, November the 14th. If you have the TNA Plus app, you'll get both of those with your subscription to the TNA Plus app. Obviously, if you have Access TV, you can watch Impact, but a lot of people don't. So I watch it on TNA Plus. It's just easier. I hear you. That's good. I wish I had a bunker for hurricanes. Then again, it floods a lot in hurricanes, so I don't know if you want to be in a bunker when it floods, unless you have some kind of pump system. Then your life depends on pumps, so I don't know if that's a good idea either. If I was rich, I would have a bunker underground and then have another one on stilts. That way, I'd have everything covered. If I was really rich, I'd have a bunker on stilts and one underground. But I'm not rich. Well, what are you going to do if it floods? There's not much you can do when it floods because everything you have goes underwater. I have a lot of food in storage too. I have a lot of food and canned goods and stuff like that, but if it floods, it doesn't matter. You lose everything. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Leon Slater and Jawad Evans sword of victory at NXT's Halloween Havoc. Leon Slater got the pin too, so that's even better. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Bases usually get attacked if we go to war. If we get a country that can hit us in the mainland, they're going to hit the bases. I live near Camp Lejeune, so I kind of face the same thing. Camp Lejeune is the biggest base on the East Coast, Marine base on the East Coast, and amphibian base on the East Coast. So they're going to attack that if they have the capabilities of attacking America. Well, there's not too many countries that have the capability of hitting us on the East Coast. More countries, like China, can probably hit the West Coast, but they're most likely going to hit Hawaii, which they've done before with Pearl Harbor. But it's a lot harder to hit the mainland. Yeah, it's gonna get worse. You're right. If you believe in the Bible, you believe it's gonna get worse. Yeah. Our biggest threats are Russia and China. You think you're ready. You think you're ready until it happens. You might be more ready than most. If you have my opinion, the only people who are ready are the people who are prayed up. If you're not prayed up, you ain't gonna make it. That's just my opinion. It ain't gonna be who's got the biggest gun. It's gonna be who's closest to the Lord. It is what it is, though. I got you. I understand. Everybody has their beliefs. That's where you get that fighting mentality from. A Viking. They believe in fighting. I don't believe you can win with fights, though. Fighting's in a lot of people's blood. But you got to remember, Satan is the one who loves violence. Satan is the one who loves violence. He thrives on it. Well, it kind of doesn't surprise me. Russia loves violence too. Russia loves people with that mindset. So is Vladimir Putin. Putin is the KGB. So is Trump. Trump is really close to Putin. Scary close to Putin. Trump and Putin are like best friends. That's not a good thing if you ask me, but it is what it is. That's why our country is going to get annihilated because Donald Trump is buddy with Putin. Giving away all America's secrets. What is going on? What is going on? Welcome to the stream. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. What's your thoughts on Jake Paul versus Tank Davis on November the 14th? That's coming up as well. November the 14th. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. A lot of interesting stuff happening in November. I like Jake Paul. Big social media YouTuber that really made it. I think a lot of people are jealous of Jake Paul. But I also think Tank Davis might knock Jake Paul out. I think Tank Davis might knock Jake Paul out. I hope not. I really would like to see Jake Paul win. But I think Tank Davis might be the one that knocked Jake Paul out. It is what it is. Jake Paul's done a lot for the YouTube community. Without Jake Paul, there probably would be no YouTube. At least the level that YouTube has reached. A lot of that's because of Jake Paul and Logan, of course. Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and Mr. Beast are pretty much the reason why YouTube creates household names. Without those three, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and Mr. Beast, I don't think YouTube would be anything. Mr. Beast did it with creating crazy videos that young kids like to watch. And Jake and Logan did it many different ways. They did it with their Smash Mouth over the top videos. I mean, Logan filmed a dead body in the forest. Yeah, Prime is disgusting. But you have to understand, I don't know how old you are, Logan Paul and Jake Paul are not geared for people my age. They're geared for teenagers. And teenagers are the biggest way to make money is to gear your product towards teenagers because they're going to live for a lot longer than us. Well, me, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 37. So Jake Paul's not geared towards me. Jake Paul's geared towards somebody who's really somebody who's 16 years old. I mean, that's who they're gearing towards, and that's good marketing. You want the youngest audience you can possibly get that you can retain. Because if they're younger than 16, you probably can't retain them. But if they're 16 years old and you still have them hooked, you might have them until they're dead, which means you have them for a very long time. You have them your whole life. See, we're a little bit older than what he's trying to get, but he's got me because I'm a YouTuber, man. I want people on YouTube to succeed, especially people who do it good. I want to succeed, so I pull for people. I don't pull the monkey out of the. I try to pull the monkey out of the barrel. I don't try to kick him in the face and put him back in the barrel. I try to pull the monkey out of the barrel. Welcome to the stream. If you're new to the stream, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Again, you're not his audience. You're not really his audience, but he does have a good fighting record, and you can say he picks and chooses his fights. He knows which fights to pick so he can win, but that's just good strategy. If you're trying, his goal is to make money. Let's be honest. His number one goal is to make money, and Jake Paul makes money. Jake Paul makes a lot of money. So does Logan. They feud each other. They're feuding with each other. Jake Paul does Celsius, the Celsius drink, and Logan does Prime. They literally are feuding with each other over which energy drink to buy. Hey, what's going on? Good morning. How are you doing? My day is great. My day is great. Those clickbait videos are what makes money, though. No, I think he's a good person. He's a lot better than Mike Tyson. He's a lot better than Floyd Money Mayweather. They beat their wives. I mean, they beat women. Floyd Money Mayweather. Most of your boxers beat women. He doesn't beat women. 6'7", 6'7". It's just a meme. It's a meme. It's a meme. 6'7". You do your hands like this and say 6'7". It's a meme. Just something the young kids are doing, man. Just something the young kids are doing. It started. It started with a basketball player. They asked him how tall he was, and I guess he didn't know, so he was like, "I'm 6'7". I'm 6'7", and it started a meme. Yeah, a lot of people talk shit about Jake Paul because they're jealous. That's all I'm gonna say is that a lot of people are jealous of Jake Paul's success. I think they're jealous of Logan's success too. But again, they're not beating women. That's all I gotta say is they're not beating on women. They might do clickbait videos, but hell, I do clickbait videos. I do anything I can to get somebody to view my video. And anybody does YouTube does clickbait videos. Anybody who does YouTube, I don't care if you're the local weather station, you do clickbait videos. I don't care if you're the local weather station. Nobody creates a title to a video and says, man, this has got to be boring. So I'm really, really honest. This video has got to be a boring title. That way I know it's not clickbait. I got to make this boring ass title. Nobody does that. Jake Paul has a lot of children around him because that's his fan base. That's his fan base. He gets mommy and daddy to, he gets parents to have their little kids saying, "Mommy, Daddy, buy me this Jake Paul merchandise. Buy me this Jake Paul merchandise." He gets little kids to say, "Mommy and Daddy, buy me this, buy me that," and he does it effectively. How about that hurricane that's going to hit Jamaica, man? Category 5 hurricane is going to hit Jamaica. I don't like hunting. No, I'm not really into hunting. Strongest Category 5 hurricane to ever hit Jamaica. Do I look like a hunter or something? I don't even like deer meat. I don't think it tastes that good. I'll eat like deer jerky, but I don't really care for deer meat. I'm a big steak. I love steak. I love eating the cow. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
I'll fight anyone, anytime, any place. I want to fight a world champion. Enough talking. I'm ready to get down and dirty, baby. Let's get it popping.
Hell yeah. Gets me so hyped watching that. That was Jake Paul versus Tank Davis off his trailer for Netflix. The fight's going to be on Netflix. That's going to be awesome.
Doing what's best for me and what's right for me, and I've been doing this for a little minute now, since I was 7 years old. This is the first camp I can enjoy myself and be back. My headspace that I'm in now is way better than what I was before, and that's the only thing that matters to me. I'm looking at it now and just like, I don't know, probably it was a good thing, us fighting. Because you have someone that we come from two different sides, like of the world. We still on the same path to get the same thing. You know, I gotta be in there with him. I gotta be able to, you know, his arm reach, his size, his power, the way he moving and things like that. I just gotta adapt as I fight him. I think it's gonna be a great event. Every time I fight is fireworks. Boxing wins come November the 14th. We just giving boxing what it is. That's excitement.
That's right. Tank Davis versus Jake Paul is excitement. That's why the fight's interesting. Tank Davis is a shit talker, and so is Jake Paul. That makes a very interesting fight. What's going on? How you doing? What do you think about Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, November the 14th on Netflix? Or what do you think about the hurricane that's going to hit Jamaica, Category 5, the first Category 5 to ever hit Jamaica? Or what do you think about the government shutdown? Everybody losing their food stamps. Next up is probably Social Security. What do you think about some of those topics? Or, of course, what do you think of TNA wrestling? Or wrestling in general?
How you doing? Everything good? Hey, thanks, man. Look at this. I have Goya. Goya. Most people say Goya.
We say Goya.
Goya.
What is going on? Tell me what's on your mind this morning. We're getting closer to November. A lot of big things happening in November.
This event has been 4 years in the making. When a fairly novice Jake Paul made a wish list of future opponents, and right in the middle of that list was Gervonta Tank Davis. These two young men are the face of boxing for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They are the two biggest boxers in America, and they're putting it all on the line. One has the speed, the skill, the accuracy, and the one-punch knockout power. The other has the size, the force, and the unbreakable confidence to make this must-see Netflix. One man has been doing this for 23 years, since the age of 7. The other picked up the sport 5 years ago and has virtually no amateur experience. So the size difference is what makes this plausible. And come Friday, November 14th, the jungle will be set in tropical Miami, Florida, and the world will be watching live on Netflix globally to see who the victor will be.
What is going on? Tell me what's on your mind.
Tank
and I are both been going at this, taking this super seriously, active, etc. And so I think there's much higher stakes, much bigger fight, and we both have that knockout power. I've seen things in people that I thought they were not prepared or not focused or whatever, and then turns out in the fight they were ready. So I don't really pay too much mind to how people act in these pressers. Yeah, it's night and day, right? You have to understand. I went from doing YouTube and Disney Channel to 5 years, once to twice a day, 6 to 7 days a week, training, recovery, taking it more serious than ever. I'm just a different specimen. My body is filled out. I'm going into my athletic prime, and going into that and my body filling out, I just feel amazing and feel super strong. He goes, I know what you're doing in camp. I was like, what? He's like, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say.
I know this is a tough situation for you, bro, given what he was trying to make it be like, oh, you over there now with it.
Listen, I love work. Listen, let me tell you something. This is my family. You know what? We as long as he know that and everybody else here, we deal with know that. These motherfuckers are.
2 million locked though, huh? Like we gotta step up for that.
What? We
And make an actual contract.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Hey, we gotta go.
Hey, good question.
What the fuck? It's broke. Oh no, there's Frank. Hey, thank you, bro. We have $2 million not locked out with Javante.
Yeah, how much do you want to cover with that?
250.
Perfect. All right.
Are you?
I'll cover 1.75.
That's perfect. Well, we're gonna win, right? He's gonna pay up though, right?
I'm watching Jake Paul versus Tank Davis week 3 workout.
Okay, they don't follow through. Okay, so let's get in contract. I'll sign my name too. Yep.
Is a MVP uncut. They're hyping up the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight November the 14th on Netflix. They're big time money makers. They're big time money makers is what they are. They're nothing but money machines, man. Jake Paul and Logan Paul have made a lot more money than Brock Lesnar. A lot more money. What Brock Lesnar's made is toilet paper money compared to them. Money is how the world goes round, my friend. Money is how the world goes round. Don't be fueled on jealousy, man. Don't be fueled on jealousy. I prop people up who are successful. I don't try to break them down. Like I said, I prop people up who are successful. I don't try to break them down. There is, and if they're really successful, there's no breaking them down anyways. You can't break them down because they have a mentality that's a lot different than most people. Their mentality is to continue to be successful, and they're going to continue to be successful because that's their mentality. If Jake Paul loses, he will continue to do what he does. If Tank Davis loses, he will continue to do what he does because that is their mentality. They're both successful at what they do because they have that mentality. Well, not all rich people are good, but I don't think there's anything wrong with Tank Davis and Jake Paul. There's Donald Trump's rich. I don't like him. I don't like Donald Trump. What will I do? I will. Floyd Mayweather beats his wives. I have no tolerance for that. Floyd Mayweather beats on women. He's the problem with rich people. Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, they beat on women. That's why I don't pull for them. That's why I don't prop them up. Ric Flair just wastes his money, unlike Jake Paul and Logan Paul. Ric Flair just wastes his money. He's dead broke. I got more money than Ric Flair because I saved my money. That motherfucker has no money. He's in debt to his eyes. He's millions of dollars in debt. He's filed bankruptcy multiple times. Of course I will. If I was filthy rich, I'd try to buy TNA. If I was filthy rich, I'd try to buy TNA. Not that I think I'm going to get filthy rich. I'm pretty sure Ric Flair's like Hulk Hogan about to die. That's not a knock on his age. That's a knock on his lifestyle. And I would argue that Ric Flair's never lived. I'd argue that Ric Flair's never lived. Partying all the time is not living. How old are you, man? What was the first wrestling storyline you started watching? I don't do drugs. I'm 37, man. My first wrestling storyline was the NWO. My first major wrestling storyline was the NWO. You should definitely check out my channel. You would know I was a Packers fan. You would know I was a Packers fan. Life begins at 40. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I don't really care for those kind of characters. I never really liked Undertaker. Could never get into his character. I care for the Mike Santanas of the world. Young and up and coming and overcome this drug problem. Overcome this demons. Mike Santana is my kind of wrestler. He has a real story that I can relate to, you know. I can't relate to being a dead man. I've never been a dead man before. Of course I remember it, but I never watched it because I was a TNA fan. I was a WCW fan. I came up on WCW. I transitioned into TNA. Never watched WWF. Never watched WWE. I watched the Frank Mir Brock Lesnar fight, the first one where Lesnar lost. I watched that one. Never. I hate Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is the worst. I have no fucking clue. Who really cares? Never really watched Roddy Rousey, whatever the fuck her name is. Never watched her. Don't watch UFC. I like I said, I watched the Lesnar fight only because it was a wrestler entering UFC, but I didn't really care for Brock Lesnar. And he lost his first fight. Not that doesn't mean he wasn't successful, because he did become successful, but again, it is what it is. I'm interested in the Jake Paul fight. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. I want to know, is Jake Paul ever going to become world champion? I want to know if I want to know what's going to happen with TNA as far as their TV deal. I care about the people of Jamaica. Jamaica is about to get the hurricane of their life. They're about to get a Category 5 hurricane. I care. I sympathize with stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I care about. And of course, God. I love God. God is what gives me motivation to get up every morning. I believe in God. Ain't no breaking me down. Ain't no breaking me down. Thank y'all for watching. If you're new to the stream, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. We're over 9,000 subscribers right now. We're trying to get to 10,000. You really shouldn't troll, man. You should try to inspire people. You shouldn't try to break people down. That's your belief. Satan's real. It gets. I don't watch WWF. I don't watch WWE. I don't watch. I do watch NXT. I watch NXT because it has TNA on it. I only watch NXT because it has TNA on it. I'm really big on wrestling. I've been really big on wrestling for a long time. Maybe. We'll see, right? A lot of people have owned TNA over the years. Hell, Billy Corgan owned it for a couple seconds. For a couple seconds, Billy Corgan owned it until the court found that it was malicious, that he bought TNA maliciously. He preyed on them failing and then tried to buy it for pennies on the dollar, and the court overturned it. Obviously, I don't even know who those people are, man. I know that they're in WWE, but I don't even know who they are. There's 500,000 streams out there where people are talking about WWE. I'm a TNA guy. Yeah. I have no clue. All I know is the Royal Rumble builds towards WrestleMania. That's all I know. And other than that, I could care less. I'd rather Triple H control WWE than Vince McMahon. At least I don't think Triple H is peeing on women and disrespecting women and cheating on his wife. I don't think Triple H is doing any of that stuff. Vince McMahon is a piece of shit. He killed Owen Hart. I made a video on that. He killed Owen Hart in cold blood because he wanted to win the Monday Night Wars and he knew it was a ratings grab to do it. Vince McMahon's a murdering piece of shit. He's a murderer. He's responsible for so many wrestlers dead today. He killed Chris Benoit, and then Chris Benoit killed his whole family. He killed Owen Hart. He killed Owen Hart for ratings. He killed Eddie Guerrero. He convinced Eddie Guerrero to do drugs. I never said Paul Heyman was a saint. Paul Heyman did some fucked up shit too. He didn't pay his guys. Not only did he not pay his guys, but he led them to believe that he was going to pay them and then showed up on Monday Night Raw when they were still believing the dream. They were still believing in the dream. They still believing in Paul Heyman. And he showed up on Raw. He sold his soul and didn't even care about the people that brought him to the dance. He said, I got a ticket to the WWF. And he completely left the people that brought him to the dance. WWE doesn't have the greatest wrestlers. They have some of the greatest sports entertainers. They certainly don't have the greatest wrestlers. As much as I hate AEW, I'd say AEW has some of the best wrestlers. And I hate AEW. If you ask me, the WWE stands for the worst wrestling ever. WWE worst wrestling ever. Raw, retarded ass wrestling. SmackDown, spelled with a K. SmackDown makes ass crack cool, done on worst network. SmackDown makes ass crack cool, done on worst network. Raw, retarded ass wrestling. WWE, worst wrestling ever. Of course I'm a TNA mark. Did I ever deny that? I've been a TNA mark for 20 plus years. And damn proud of it. I've been a TNA mark for 20 plus years. I'm the only person on YouTube, on the internet, that has supported TNA and told Dave Meltzer, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, Dave Meltzer, fuck you, Dave Meltzer, fuck you, Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer is a piece of shit too. Dave Meltzer's been on the WWE payroll multiple times. Dave Meltzer gets no W's because if Dave Meltzer got W's, TNA would be out of business. He said they were going to die in 90 days before they even launched. He said they were going to die in 90 days. Here we are 20-something years later. TNA's still kicking. It's stronger than ever. Mike Santana is the face of the best wrestling company that's going today. Mike Santana is taking TNA to the next generation. They're about to land their biggest TV deal in company history. It's going to be bigger than Spike TV, man. It's going to be bigger than Spike TV. I'm absolutely pumped and jacked and excited. My name's Kent, by the way. TNA is not mid. TNA is fucking phenomenal. And TNA's been phenomenal for years. I will admit that they really did not do good with the Hulk Hogan situation. Hulk Hogan took them down a path that almost killed them. Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Booker T, those people played a part in almost killing TNA. RVD, all those quote unquote big names almost killed TNA. When TNA quit caring about the RVDs of the world, the Booker T's of the world. That's why I when I watch NXT and I hear Booker T go on and on and on and on, I'm like, this motherfucker sitting around and he worked for TNA, got a paycheck from TNA, and now he's on the NXT bandwagon. Lyndon McMahon tried to use WWE as a launching pad to create a political career, and it failed miserably, just like it should have. She's nothing but a dick sucker to Donald Trump. I'm talking about whatever the fuck I want to. This is my platform. I'm talking about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. He's at school. He's at school. Yeah. Monday through Friday, of course. Monday through Friday. I take him to daycare at 6:30 in the morning. And then daycare takes him to regular school. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. He is very, very smart. I have watched that movie. It is an awesome movie. It is an awesome movie. I love wrestling too, and I'm a different wrestling fan. That's why I think I bring something to the table when it comes to YouTube content creator, because there is 500,000 YouTube on any given Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or any WWE programming. You'll see stream after stream after stream after stream, but you know what? Every one of those fucking streams are the exact same. They're all the exact same. It's just somebody sitting there absorbing the content, having no difference in opinion. It's just going with whatever's on their screen. They don't absorb anything they see. It's just boring as fuck. It's not entertaining. It's not good content, but there's so many people that are riding the WWE machine that are trying to get famous from the WWE machine, and I'm not one of them. I can't stand the WWE. I really dislike the WWE. I support it as Vince screwed a lot of people over. That's why he was successful. But he screwed people until it ultimately caught up with him, and now he's probably going to prison. But the reason he originally in the 90s he screwed Paul Heyman. He screwed Paul Heyman, which that he screwed Paul Heyman, which is the biggest one he screwed. More than anybody, he screwed Paul Heyman. Of course, the people he killed were like Owen Hart, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit. He killed all those guys, so I guess he screwed them more. But on the business side, he screwed Paul Heyman because he took all his, in the 90s, he took all his ideas. He took everything, he took all his concepts. He took everything that was creative and he created the Attitude Era. We Got Attitude, which was all ECW. And ECW was doing it before anybody was doing it. And he just kept on stealing their ideas and he just kept on letting them do what they did. He let ECW survive because he knew that he wasn't as creative as Paul Heyman was, and eventually he knew Paul Heyman would work for him, which he was 100% right. Paul Heyman ultimately ended up working for him. Vince McMahon, and of course, he got so creative and so interesting because, and look at D-Generation X was nothing but an NWO ripoff. The creative cutting edge stuff with The Godfather, The Hose, and stuff like that. That was edgy programming he would have never done without ECW. No, they're not greater than TNA. TNA came up with hard work. TNA came up with creating their own talent, creating their own storylines, and ultimately they learned to fail. They learned to succeed by failing, which is the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to fall on your face and then succeed until you fall on your face so many times you learn from it. Vince never did that. Vince just screwed people, but ultimately that screwing people, he ultimately is now, he doesn't own WWE, he doesn't control WWE. He lost his empire because of his stupid business tactics that ultimately caught up with him. Vince doesn't like anything that makes it an even playing field. TNA is the greatest wrestling company there's ever been. They're honest wrestling company. They've worked hard, they failed, and they have learned from their failures, and they continue to succeed. Mike Santana is the image of TNA that I want to go forward. Mike Santana is a guy who failed. He completely hit rock bottom. I think TNA hit rock bottom too with the Hulk Hogan thing. And they came back from it. They hit rock bottom, man. They went to ultimate lows and they bounced back from it. That's what hard work does. I have a lot of respect for Mike Santana and I have a lot of respect for Leon Slater. I have a lot of respect for what the TNA product represents. It represents failing. It really does. It represents failing and then learning to succeed from your failures. Because they've had everything. TNA's had everything. TNA had the $1 billion company backing them with Panda Energy. It didn't work. They tried pushing all the big name talents like Hulk Hogan, Booker T, Ric Flair, RVD, all the big name talents. It didn't work. They know that doesn't work now. They know that doesn't work because they tried it. That's trial and error. The only thing that works is building young up-and-coming stars. You look at the WWF when they were successful. They took a young Chris Jericho who was he was white. Look at Chris Jericho. He was hanging out with Ralphus in WCW. Then he became a household name in the WWF because they learned that pushing young guys is what really, really mattered. Y2J, exactly. They learned that really mattered, and look what he became. Look at The Rock. The The Rock is a household name because he went to Hollywood and made movies. He was young. He was up and coming. He was a nobody before the WWF latched onto him. They didn't latch onto these old talents. That was what WCW did, and that's what killed WCW. Christian and Edge is correct. Christian and Edge, the young Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys. Those were all young talents. Those are what made the WWF successful. But then when they started pushing the wrong talents, they got so many guys in the WWF / WWE I've never heard of because they're not interesting. They're not creative. They're not even worth keeping up with. They're not even worth keeping up with. Who do you think is going to know who the hell CM Punk is? CM Punk is one of their top talents. You really think anybody's going to know who CM Punk is in 30 years? You think people are going to care who CM Punk is in 30 years? People will talk about Hulk Hogan for 30 plus years. In 30 plus years, people will talk about Hulk Hogan because he's still going to be relevant. I look like Bubba. I wish I could cut promos like Bubba. I wish I could cut a promo like Bubba. Bubba's awesome on the microphone. Devon, get the tables. Or should I have done this? Devon, get the tables. All right, y'all. That's my call to go to Bible study. I got to let y'all go. It's been good. I'll see you in the next stream.